Hello my friends and welcome back to Indam Remember the Pot of Cultural Store. Ladies and gentlemen, bonne année, happy new year. Let's have this eye-opening conversation where we look into the intricate history of African polygamy and the profound impact of the missionaries. So as usual, sit back, relax and please watch the video till the end. Keti kitako pasipo kubanduka na tafadhali tizama video hadi tamati. That said, let's get started, and we start by looking at the word polygamy. This is our discussion in this particular video. So what is polygamy? In simple language, polygamy can be defined as a marriage system whereby a person has got more than one spouse. Just as simple as that. A marriage system whereby a person has got more than one spouse. And here we have different forms of polygamy. One being polygyny, which is most common, widely known, and which is actually acceptable among the African societies. And this is a marriage whereby a man marries more wives. The second form of polygamy is polyandry, and the third one is group marriage. Group marriage is whereby a group of men and women come together to form a family. This third form of polygamy is a bit strange and not that common. Actually, it is not practiced among the African societies. So let's look at some of the factors that contributed to polygamy in Africa. One being cultural traditions, economic factors, social status, and religion beliefs. So now let's just generalize them and look at some of the reasons that led to the adoption of polygamy in Africa. Number one reason, there was an urgent need of a population to fill the continent. African continent was huge and empty. So the shortcut to fill this vast piece of land, our ancestors opted for polygamy so that they can get many children within a shorter time to fill this space. Africa is bigger than it is presented on the paper. On the ground, Africa is huge. Africa can accommodate several continents, and then you have to add even countries so that you can fill it. Bring the US, drop into Africa, you'll still have space. Add China, India, Japan, Great Britain, the whole of Eastern Europe. In fact, DRC alone is bigger than Eastern Europe. Add Germany, France, Portugal, Little Belgium, Spain, and you will still have enough space to put in another China. That is how big Africa is. So there was an urgent population, and that is why African opted for polygamy. Another reason as to why our ancestors opted for this system was this one is traditional now, customs and traditions. We go to customs and traditions. In some African communities, we had these taboos are like the guidelines that normally guides people on their daily life. Taboos act as constitution. So in some communities, a man was not allowed to have normal life with his wife during pregnancy. During 9 months of pregnancy, man was actually forbidden to cohabit with the wife during this particular period. So the only way out was for a man to have another wife, so that when one wife is pregnant, normal life goes on with another wife. This is another reason as to why African opted for polygamy. In some communities, the period was even longer. The prohibition was extended. Even after 9 months, it was extended to 1 to 2 years breastfeeding period. During breastfeeding period, some communities didn't allow man to go on with normal life with his wife. So again, to tackle this challenge, man had to go for more wives. That is the second one. The third reason was infertility. This is whereby a woman is unable to give birth or to conceive. So in this case, a woman had to bring in either her sister or her nephew. Is it a nephew? The son, the daughter to your brother. That one. A woman had to bring in as a co-wife, so that she can give birth to the husband or the society. In African setup, children normally belongs to the society, but not an individual as it is in the other parts of the globe. So infertility also contributed to polygamy. Infertility also contributed to the polygamy in African traditional setup. Another reason was gender of the children. In case a woman was only able to give birth, actually the blame the blame was always on the woman's side. In case a woman couldn't give birth to both gender, both sex, boys and girls, maybe a woman only gives birth to daughters or only to sons. This also contributed to polygamy in a way that community demanded to have both gender. They wanted that gender balance. So a man had to look for another woman who could give birth to both gender. Okay, so this also contributed to polygamy. Let's just go with these that I have mentioned. And we had taboos, we had rules that actually ensured that these rules are strictly adhered to. And again, a man was actually restricted. A man was restricted not to have any type of relationship, any kind of a relationship with one woman during the setup period that belonged to another woman. So you had to observe those setup days. You only have to spend with one wife only the days that belonged to her, and then you had to move on to the next house like that until you complete the whole circle. Now let's look at how marriage was conducted, how these ancestors of ours married, the ways through which they got their wives. Number one is the normal way that is even practiced today, and it is a norm all over the world. This is whereby a man courageously approaches a lady, a mature enough lady to be a wife, and proposes to her. And as they say, what follows next becomes history. That is the most common and most accepted. A man is given that chance to select, to go for a woman of his own choice. It is a man who should approach a lady, but not in the other way around. Okay. Maybe it happening that in the other way around nowadays, but back in the days, it was a man to make the first move. Okay. The second way was through arranged marriage. Arranged marriage. You are just surprised that you are marrying so and so. You are getting married to so and so. This was used to be done by the parents from both sides. Maybe a father is a friend to a man somewhere else, and this guy has got a son who is ready to get married, and the father has got a daughter who is ready, so they just arrange for their children to get married. That was arranged marriage. The third way was waylaying. Let me call it waylaying or ambush. Waylaying or ambush. This happened when a man admired a lady and maybe had even made some approaches, but were declared. The first move that the man made, the ladies turned away. So the only way to have this girl as your wife, you had to waylay her on her way to the river, forest, to look for firewood, or on her way to the market or wherever. And you had to go with some strong men. You know, in some communities, men resisted when they had maybe a lady wailing or shouting. Men would come out and resist. So you had to go with strong men. Waylaying was also accepted. I don't know if it can be practiced today, but if you try it today, I think that could land you in a hot soup. So don't try that at home. Finally, we had ladies with inherent qualities, inherent values. Maybe a lady is a dancer, like Natecho here. Let's look at Natecho here. Natecho, come and dance for us. Yes, let's sing Natecho.
I will remove the sweater to change and wear their bye.
she was sick when making that video, and if you watch the full video, she said that she was so confused. She was sick to the extent of not even remembering some things. She couldn't even remember to tie a baya, that scarf that is normally tied on the face, a baya. And to my surprise is that she couldn't remember how to tie a baya, but she could remember how to dance. Now that is inborn. This is the talent that is inborn. It is inbuilt. It doesn't die even if the holder dies. So Natecho, even if you go 100 years later, those kids that would be named after you shall possess this talent. This is inbuilt. You see, you are sick, you can't remember to do other things, but you can remember your talent. Okay, so our ancestors preferred such ladies with these talents. Maybe a lady is a singer, a dancer, is an artist, can make basketry, pottery, or she is a hardworking lady in farm. These kind of ladies really attracted men. Okay, so those ladies were always on high demand. That was also a way through which the ancestors of ours got their wives. Like my own great grandfather got his second wife from a dancing competition. He attended a dancing competition, and this lady was the best dancer. And from there, what followed, history as it is normally said. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, the other way was through use of a go-between, and this was also very common. And it was actually the marriages that were arranged through a go-between were always successful because these go-between could scrutinize the lady and the family and bring information to the guy. So the guy would get the best from the best. Okay, the best lady from the best clan or community. You know, some communities practiced other things that were not acceptable by other communities. Let's say witchcraft or night running. You know, witchcraft is different from night running. Witchcraft is totally different from night running. Night running is like what is normally said to be pranks in Western world. Pranks, those pranks. Night running is just a prank. The only difference is that maybe it is influenced. Night running is normally influenced with some lowly ranked devils, lowly ranked that are normally harmless. They don't cause any harm to anybody. Actually, when you catch a night runner, you don't harm them. You don't harm them because from where I come from, if you you hit a night runner and you harm them, the moment you make them bleed, one of your child shall be a night runner. And because of that, we don't hit night runners. Back in the days, we did hit night runners whenever we caught them. So guys, a go-between was also a way of getting a wife back in the days. Now let's move to the next phase where we meet the missionaries. The missionaries are now coming, and found us living our life. So the missionaries are coming to change everything. Missionaries are coming from countries where monogamy is order of the day, and they believed that monogamy uh, was aligned with their interpretation of the biblical teachings. So we receive them, and they come with the reforms. They says they want to reform as socially and morally. And the first thing to tackle was polygamy. Polygamy was wrong according to Christianity. Now you will ask yourself a question: how wrong was polygamy? Because we have two equal religion, Islamic religion and Christianity. They both have holy books. Now one holy book prohibits polygamy and the other ones embrace polygamy. The two holy books are from one God. Okay, how comes it is so that one book embraces polygamy and the other one prohibits polygamy? And then in Christianity, we have some variations, and these actually came about due to individual beliefs and denominational differences. We had some missionaries who actually were a bit flexible and tried to recognize some local traditions, customs and traditions. So you may wonder, why is it confusing when it comes to Christianity? Within Christianity, we have a section which doesn't allow polygamy, and the other one allows polygamy. The other side, we have one religion which 100% embraces polygamy. These two religions worship one God. Actually, we Africans were religious. We practiced religion before the coming of these guys, before the Islamic, before the Christianity. Africans were religious way back before the coming of these missionaries and Islam. Like where I come from, we believed in the being of, we believed in a supreme being by the name Were Hakava, which translates to the God provider. And this supreme being, we believed, lived on the mountain, and the mountain was called Mount Masava, Lugululwe Masava, and Lugululwe Masava is currently Mount Elgon. So this mountain was called Masava because it is situated on the northern side of the Luya land, and over there we had a community of the Gizus and some other communities of eastern Uganda, and the Luya people called these guys Abamasava. That is why they called this mountain as Masava. I also hear the same word being used by the Kisis, and they pronounce it as Masaba. And if you are a Kisi and you are here, you are watching here, kindly share with us what is the meaning of Masaba in Kisi. For us, Luya, it is a community name. It's a name that it is the community that lives there were called Abamasava. So the same name gave us the third cardinal point. Initially, the Luya had Luya compass direction had two cardinals, east and west. East Rukwe, West Mumbo. Now the coming of Masava, we now have the third cardinal point, which is called Masava, and Masava is north. Masava is north. All right. So we were religious. Our god was called Were, and we worshipped Were through intermediaries, and at the center here we had the ancestors. So we worshipped Were through ancestors. Okay. And this is the reason as to why it was very easy for the Christian and Islam to convince us that there is indeed a God, but not the one you are worshipping. The setup was the same. From where we had ancestors, then the living. Christianity are coming with the God in heaven. At the center we have Jesus Christ, and then the living. The Islam, the same. They had Allah, and then at the middle we had Muhammad, and then the living. Same system. You may wonder how we came up with this system. So Africans were religious before the coming of these guys. These guys are only coming to fine tune the religion matters. So we welcomed them. They reformed polygamy. They reformed us socially and morally. But before we go on, there is a song here that I wanted us to listen to before we move on. And the song was composed by one George Varkis Kiamwanga na Wanzola Mbongo in 1972. And the song raises some of the issues that these guys, missionaries, prohibited us to practice. The song is really aligned with our discussion in this video. So I want us to listen to this song before we go on. Wanga lady, nikiconnect hapa, ibu weka kudundu kwanza. Weka kudundu hii entertain watu kidogo, watu wasiboeke. Wanga lady, weka kudundu. Komitunaka. The song is in Lingala. Lingala is one of the 5 national languages in DRC today. They have French, they have Lingala, they have Kikongo, Chiluba, they have Swahili, which is also known as Kingwana, and then they have sign language. So the song was the song is in Lingala, pure Lingala, and the composer, as I told you, is George Varkiskia Mwangana, and then the voice in the song is of Pepe Kalea Mpanya. So let's go on. Nakomitunaka is I'm asking myself. Nakomitunaka is the title of the song. I'm asking myself. I nakomitunaka. Oh, I'm asking myself. I nakomitunaka. Oh, I'm asking myself. Nzambe ona komitunaka. God, I'm asking myself. Poso mwindo eutande wapio. Where did black skin come from? Poso is skin, and the same word is used to mean the weak. So when you hear, it depends with the context. When you hear poso, when the discussion is about days, just to know that is the week. And when you hear poso, when the discussion is about the color or the race, just to know that is skin. So poso moindo euta nde wapi? Where did the black skin come from? Koko na biso ya kala ye nani? Who is our ancestor? Koko is our grandfather. Kala is way back. Sika is now. So Koko na biso ya kala ye nani? In this context now is not a grandfather, but it is the singer means ancestor. Who is our ancestor? Koko na biso ya kala yende nani? Yesu mwana nzambe yende mondele. Jesus, son of God, is white. Mondele is white. Mindele is the plural of mondele. Mondele. Mondele mzungu. Mindele wazungu. Adamu na Eva bangonde mindele. You hear now mindele is coming in. The other one was mondele. Yesu mwana nzambe yende mondele. Adamu na Eva bangonde mindele. So Adam and Eve are also white. Basantu nyoso bango pe mindele. Basantu nyoso bango pe mindele. Even the saints, all the saints are white. Pona ninyo. Why is it so? Pona is like the mbona in Swahili. Pona. Mbona. He's just repeating like he's on chorus. Ndambe o nakomi tunaka. Oh God, I'm asking myself. Babuku ya Nzambe tomona kaboye. In God's books, this is what we see. Basantu nyoso foto se mindele. All the saints, their pictures are of white. Banzelu nyoso bango se mindele. Even the angels are all white. Sokiza bulu foto moto moindo. Oh. When it comes to the devil, it is a picture of black person, and he added there the voice oh, which is like he's shocked. Okay, sokiza bulu photo moto moindo. And when it comes to the devil, it is a picture of a black person. Oh, injustice eutawapio. Injustice eutawapio. Where is injustice coming from? Aena komitunaka. Oh, I'm asking myself. Poso moindo eutande wapio. Where did black skin come from? Banoko bakanga biso mayele boye. Noko is uncle. Banoko is the plural. Noko, banoko. So, banoko bakanga biso mayele boye. Kokanga ni kama kufunga. Funga kabisa. Kokangola is to fungua. To untie. So, banoko bakanga biso mayele boy. This statement means that our uncles fooled us to believe this way. Mayele is intelligent. Akili, mayele. Okay. Banoko bakanga biso mayele boy. The Congolese people normally refer to the Europeans as banoko, especially those from those from Belgium. You know, Belgium had a stint in their country some years back, but the coming of Belgium to Congo was a bit different, unlike in other African countries. So, Belgians acquired Congo after the exploration made by one Sir Henry Morton Stanley. When Sir Henry Morton Stanley made this, did this exploration from east to west and then west and to east, he presented the findings to then the king of British, but the king was not interested in this piece of land. So Morton Stanley decided to approach Leopold II, and Leopold II accepted to take up the piece of land. So when the Berlin Conference, Africa was being partitioned, Leopold was asked, present your place, where is your place? And then a sketch was just drawn on a paper. River Zaire is here, Ebalia Zaire, River Zaire is here, and then a sketch was just done, a piece with a pencil. They marked upper end, the lower side. What they didn't know was that they were giving King Leopold the whole world. So that is how Belgium entered Zaire. Actually, it was a private entity. It was a private property of King Leopold. The Congolese refer to these guys as Noko, Anko. Okay, and it is a bit, it is different with the rest of other African countries. Like we in Kenya or even in Tanzania, we don't refer to the British. Even in Uganda, we don't refer to the British as uncles, because Tanzania is a different story. We refer to them by the Swahili name Makaburu. Makaburu means brutal people, brutal colonizers. Makaburu. But the Congolese use somehow soft and friendly word, uncles. So banoko bakanga biso mayele boy. Our uncles fooled us to believe this way. Now the uncles are now fooling us. Bikeko ya bankoko banko baboyaka. Bikeko ya bankoko banko baboyaka. Bikeko are statues, sanam. We used to make these sanams of our heroes and what have you. So these guys comes in and tell us, stop making those statues. You are worshipping them. That is idolatry. Stop it. We go on. Kisi ya bankoko bango bandi makate. As the missionaries came, they told us we should not use our traditional medicine. It is witchcraft. You see? Don't use traditional herbals because they are witchcraft. Now this is an irony. The Bible that they are carrying, if you read Ezekiel chapter 47 verses 12, just read that verse towards the end. The tree that has been talked about in this verse, at the end, we see the tree providing fruits for food, and its leaves are being used for medicine. This guy comes and found us getting fruits as food from trees, and the leaves, we use the leaves as medicine. Just like in the Bible, Ezekiel 47:12. Now let's turn our eyes and face the Garden of Eden. Just visualize Eden, how Eden was like. What do you see? You see forests, you see trees that are fruit-bearing trees. We see water, animals, stones. Actually, we don't see any factory there by the name of Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, etc., etc. We don't see these medicine manufacturing companies. We don't see Panadol, we don't see headaches. Okay? Now come back. Who is fooling who? The missionaries are telling us to stop using this medicine. The Bible they are carrying allows, in fact it is talking about these trees that provides fruits and leaves. And them they are telling us stop using those herbs are witchcraft. Kasina ndako ya dhambi biso tomonaka. In the church, this is what we see. Tokosambela chapele na maboko. We worship while holding rosaries in hands. Rosaries. They told us not to make anything because God we are worshiping can hear even when you just think about something. Even if when you talk to yourself inside, God can hear you. Why are they giving us rosaries at the time of worshiping? What is these rosaries? Aren't they idols? Tokosambela bikeko bitondi ndako. Bikeko are statues. Ekeko is statue. Bikeko plural. Tokosambela bikeko bitondi ndako. We worship and the church is full of these statues. Kasi bikeko yango semindele, but these statues are of the whites. Pona nini zambe? Why is it so good? Pona nini? Mbona? Baprofete mindele biso tondimaka. Baprofete mindele biso tondimaka. The white prophets, we accepted the white prophets. Kazi ya bato moindo bango bandimaka te. Moto moindo is black person. Batu moindo are black people. Kazi ya batu moindo bango bandimaka te. And when it comes to black prophets, they rejected them. They rejected Lloyd Sesame. Lloyd Sesame was a prophet. Lloyd Sesame was from Cameroon. They rejected Simeon Mfumu Kimbangu. Simeon Mfumu Kimbangu was from DRC, Kamba region. Actually, Kamba, I suspect this is where the Kambas of Kenya originated from. This area is called Kamba. And these guys are called Akamba. And the wife to Simeon Mfumu Kimbangu, this prophet was the founder of the Bakimbangiste religion. The wife to this guy was called Marie Mwilu. Marie Mwilu, I think Marie is like Mary Mwilu. And when you come to Kamba, they have that name, and they normally give it to female. It is a female name, Mwilu. Very common among the Kamba people. So they rejected Simeon Mfumu Kimbangu. They rejected Samson Opong, the Ghanaian prophet. They rejected. Here in Kenya, they rejected Jebochok, Arap Boisio. They rejected Maina Wanaluke. They rejected Siokimau. They rejected many of them, Moko Akibiru. They rejected Jehovah Wanyonyi. Just recently, they rejected. Even today, Yeswa Transoia, they have rejected. So they rejected all our black prophets, but the white prophet, we accepted. Munyonge ana laki. Pona nini zambe osala biso boy? Why did you God created us this way? Africa biso efungwani. Africa tozonga simate. Now this is the punchline. This is the punchline in this song. Listen again. Now this is the punchline. Africa miso efungwani. Africa, our eyes are now open. Africa miso efungwani. Africa tozonga simate. Africa miso efungwani. Africa tozonga simate. Africa, our eyes are now open. Africa, we shouldn't go back. We shouldn't go back. Hapo tumeshikilia tusiachilie. Hapo tumeshikilia tusiachilie. Miso efungwani. Miso are eyes. Actually, one is liso. Liso. Among the Luya people, liso is the hole in which the termites normally comes out from. Liso, one is liso. And for Lingala, liso is an eye. When there are two, miso. But for the Kikongo, they call it meso. And among the Luya people, meso is now the plural of liso. You see? Liso, meso. Miso, liso, meso. So Africa, miso efungwani. Africa tozonga simate. Africa, our eyes are now open, and we shouldn't go back. So as you have heard from this the song, we have so many things that these guys actually stopped us from doing. It is not just only polygamy. That is why I said it is in the line. It aligns itself with the discussion of us today. So these kind of men are not here today actually to fight for us. These guys could write the music that holds the world like this and shake it. So after the release of this song, Varkis Kiamwangana was excommunicated from the Catholic Church because of this song. This guy was told, Beba Virago Toka, and he went. He left Catholic just that way. So we no longer have such like brave men today. Those that we thought could be fighting for us are here, fighting for other things that we don't understand. But the church is lucky. The church is lucky. And now let's hear the fighter of the church. Here we have seen the fighter of African culture. Now let's hear the fighter of the church. Wanga, utaweka kawimbo kwanza, utaweka kudundu, weka kudundu kidogo. Nikitafuta hii
and have allowed LGBTQ to be registered as an NGO in this country. One of the questions I asked the Chief Justice, because I called her personally, and I asked yesterday in the media, when an association is registered, the articles of associations are clear, because they spell out what that association is going to be. If you register a football club, we all know they are going to play football, isn't it? If you register a circle, we all know that they are going to lend money and keep credit for people and help people acquire loans. And that's what their articles of association will spell out. And I asked the Chief Justice, and I'm asking Kenyans, what are the articles of association of LGBTQ? Well, we all know that they promote homosexuality, and I asked the Chief Justice, is homosexuality no longer a crime? She says it is a crime. Then how do you legalize people who are going to promote the crime? Then I asked her the second question. Now that you have registered them, using the article that Kenya has freedom of association, when bandits in West Pokot want to register a bandit association, are you going to register them? When Al-Shabaab want to be registered as an association, are we going to register them? Or Mongiki or any other outlawed group? These are the questions we must ask ourselves as a Christian family. This attack is not just an attack on humanity, but an attack on creation and the Creator himself. Because God did not make a mistake to pronounce that Adam is lonely, and when he was looking for a helper, he did not go for another man, he went for a woman. And that's how God has designed it. And if we go against the natural order, that human beings, animals, and even plant science is telling us today, the pollens have both a male and a female. And until the male part of the pollens meet the female part of the pollen, fertilization happens and bearing of seed will happen. So how can we allow ourselves to go against the natural order God has created and pursue things that do not satisfy? Because I don't think a gay relationship satisfies. It is a fallacy. It is, it is just driven by money and people who want to pervert what Christian faith is all about. You have seen me stand against my church in England, and I said this to the Archbishop of Canterbury. Has now the church in England removed homosexuality from the list of sins that the Bible calls sin? He could not answer. Then I said, why do you bless it in the church? He said, I'm blessing people and not the sin. Then I say, but we bless people in the context of where they are. If I bless you in the context of a business, I bless you and your business. If I bless you in the context of a family, I bless you and your family. If I bless you in the context of a farm, I bless you and your farm. But if I bless you in the context of a gay marriage, I bless you and that marriage, which the Bible calls sin. Then I ask the last question. In whose name are you going to bless? In the name of the very God who says it is sin? Are you going to invoke the name of God? What I want to say is that let us stand firm, the Christian family, and say no to what is not right before God. The West is introducing new agenda items in the Christian church. And one on the table already in discussion is to bring what they call gender neutral language and change the Bible to remove anything male or female. And the same question I ask, what will become of our doctrine of the Trinity, where we believe in God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit? How will we recite our creeds, which is a fundamental of our faith? I believe in God the Father, the maker of heaven and earth, and in His Son, Jesus Christ. The Son is a male. Then I ask, the Bible is full of person stories. How will you tell the story of Abraham? How will we tell the story of Moses? How will we refer to Moses? What name are we going to give to him? Or Jeremiah? Or Deborah? Because they want to remove both male and female. Or Eve? What are we going to do? Friends, the devil is on the offensive, attacking the Christian faith. Let us stand firm in prayer and deepen our faith in the Lord. May God bless you and bless us together.
Yes, that is it. That is Archbishop of the Anglican Church of Kenya, ACK, Reverend Dr. Ole Sapit. You can see how he fights tooth to nail for the church. He fights for the dignity of the church as it was in the beginning. The reason as to why this man of God is fighting for the church is because these guys are coming back with more reforms. These guys are here again with more reforms. They believe that we still need to be reformed. They are unlucky because Africa mise fungwani. Africa mise fungwani. Africa tozonga zimate. At least the church still has got people who can fight for it, like the good Archbishop. And if you hear these such like words, just know that things are not going in the right direction. At the moment, we have heard the voice from the apex of the church with the more reforms that the Archbishop is talking about in that video. I won't review much because you have heard for yourself. So those are the reforms that are coming back, that they are coming back to reform us on. We are already reformed. We were, even initially we were reformed. Now if you look at the new reforms, you just know who should be reformed. Is it us or them? Who should be reformed? These guys even invaded us in bedroom, and they said that we shouldn't make love to our wives in a certain way, that we have to use the missionary. This is the way to make love to you have to use missionary, the missionary style. They introduced us to missionary as the only way acceptable in God's eyes. You may wonder, if you read the Bible, you don't see such directive. Where were these guys getting these directives from? That you should sleep this way, you should turn this way on the bed, you should not face this way, you should not do this and this, and you have to follow missionary because it is the only way that is acceptable to God. Our eyes are now open, and what we see from them is just white supremacists, nothing more. It is simply white supremacist from the beginning up to now, because the reforms should come from both sides. Even us, we should propose that you guys do this and this, don't do this and this, just the way they are coming up with the reforms. Come with your reforms, let us come with our reforms. Finally, I have to give my verdict. Let me give my verdict in this case. So this is my verdict. They have said that abortion is a human right. Homosexuality is a human right. So let them go ahead and also recognize polygamy as human right. Women, let's have the world that everybody feels at ease, not intimidated, not forced to do this and that, not to do what and what. Reason, Africa mise fungwani, Africa tozonga simatei. Bandeko mibali mpe basi tokomi na suka ya video oyo ya lelo. Nasengi tantatambe apambola biso ti tokutana lisusu na video oyo ekoya. Botikala malamu.